Today on the show, we're doing our top changes from the book to the movie in Catching Fire. So I saw Catching Fire. I saw it twice in the theater. I really enjoyed it. And this review is going to be very spoiler full. So if you have not seen Catching Fire yet, I suggest that you don't watch this.
Number 1.
So in Hunger Games, you see that Katniss goes beyond this fence into the woods to hunt. That's where her and Gale go, and they get all their meat from and all that sort of good stuff. And that's where she learned how to hunt with a bow. And in the second book versus the second movie, there's a lot more action that goes on in town. And a lot more time is spent in the woods. And one time, Katniss is out and about, and she runs into two people who are on the lam from District 8 getting out of there. She learns that there's like a revolution going on, and shit's gone crazy in District 8. It's really interesting that she runs into these people because the districts don't have intercommunication. She doesn't know what's going on in any of the other districts. So now she knows for a fact that there is an uprising starting, and it's definitely going on in District 8 at least.
Number 2.
The scene where Gale is getting whipped in the town square has a lot more implications in the book. First of all, in the movies, you always see peacekeepers, the guys in the white uniforms, you're like, they're always like shitty in the movies. But in the books, they're actually a bunch of really cool ones that are like, buy the meat off of Katniss and Gale, and they're totally friends with everybody. So when Gale starts getting whipped by this new captain of the guard, Darius, one of the cool peacekeepers, tries to stop it and ends up being knocked out. Later on, Katniss sees him again, now as an Avox who is there to serve her, okay? And it's so fucked up because it's like this guy, this peacekeeper who thought that what his peacekeeper captain was doing was fucked up, tries to stop it, and then is turned into a mute slave for it. And then he has to wait on Katniss, so it like fucks with her mentally before she has to go into the games, because you know President Snow did that on purpose because he's a dick. So good.
Number 3.
Peeta's significance is kind of played down in the movies a little bit, whereas in the book, Katniss realizes that Peeta's strength may not be in shooting arrows at people and whatnot, but he is really charismatic. He's really good at talking to the crowd. He always has like the best interviews of anyone when they do the interviews with Caesar. And she sees how that skill of Peeta's can like potentially make him the mouthpiece of the revolution because he's so good with people. And she thinks that that's more important because she's like a symbol, but that's all she can do. Like she feels like she's not qualified to talk to the people about it. So she feels like, well, it'd be better if I just died and was a martyr anyways, and Peeta lived so he could like really help the revolution. In the movie, during Peeta's final interview with Caesar before they go into the Hunger Games arena, he drops a bomb on them by telling them that Katniss is pregnant when she's really not. When Peeta goes on and he says, Katniss is pregnant, you know, like it's so sad because the baby. Like he is so smart because he is getting that mom demographic, okay? Like all the moms in the Capitol, like a mom is a mom, whether you're in the Capitol or a district. And like all the moms in the Capitol are pissed now that Katniss has to go do this thing. And that is super sneaky and super smart. Also, another thing is that when Katniss is in the arena, they have to keep up the illusion that she's pregnant. So they keep like trying to be like, oh, you shouldn't do this because you're pregnant, wink, wink. So in the movies, they just completely drop the pregnancy thing. But I think it's interesting that she has to keep up the charade later on.
Number 4.
In the movie, you see that when it's Katniss's interview before the Hunger Games, she goes out there in her wedding dress, the one that she would have worn to her wedding with Peeta. Now, in the books, the wedding dresses play a lot bigger of a role. So, as you know, in our society, apparently a girl's wedding is the most important day of her life. And Cinna has made 6 different dresses, and they send them all to her. And she doesn't even care enough to try them on. Like, she doesn't even try them on before they go make her put them all on. And then the Capitol gets to vote on which ones she's going to wear to her wedding day, and it's this big reality show thing. But I think it's really interesting to show that Katniss could give a fuck about a wedding dress, and I think that's pretty admirable to have for a female character in a friggin' novel for girls, because girls need to get over this fucking wedding nonsense, okay? It's bullshit, ladies, let me tell you, okay? It really upsets me how all these girls, like, that's just like all they care about is this fantasy wedding, and it's just crazy. It's like, you shouldn't be excited about getting married because you get to wear a dress and have a big party, okay? That's not what marriage is about. Jeez. It's like people want to get married just to have a ring and a wedding. I feel like in our culture, girls are taught that you derive self-value from being married and having a giant-ass rock on your finger, and that's to let everyone know that you're worth something, when in fact, marriage does not make you worth anything. Your worth has to come from inside of you and not from some dude asking you a question. Just like in Hunger Games, you know, they make this wedding, this celebrity wedding, a huge deal, you know, and it's just a bunch of crap. Like, it's just a distraction, and that's all it is. Doesn't have any real meaning.
Number 5.
District 13. In the Catching Fire movie, Plutarch says to Katniss that they're going to District 13, and she's like really confused, like, District 13? And let me tell you why. In the first book, you find out that District 13 was completely annihilated by the Capitol during the uprising the first time. And then in the second book, you find out that people think that District 13 really has an underground rebel force going on over there. And Katniss is like, well, why doesn't the Capitol just like take them out if that's the case? And she finds out that it's because District 13 used to make nuclear weapons. So that's why the Capitol doesn't mess with them, because those guys are a major threat. So they just kind of leave them alone. And in the media, they manipulate all the other districts into thinking that District 13 is no more, when in fact, there's still people there and they're still rebelling.
Number 6.
So in the movie, as you know, when Peeta and Katniss go to show the game makers their stuff, Peeta ends up painting a portrait of Rue with the flowers around her when she was dead. And Katniss ends up hanging an effigy of Seneca Crane. Now, in the movie, they don't show you that because of their actions, they are both given a 12, which is a huge deal. Nobody ever gets a 12, okay? The scores only go from 1 to 12. And the fact that they both are given 12s means that these game makers are essentially painting a target on them. They're saying that these guys are the most lethal and the most deadly, and you want to get rid of these kids first.
What number did I say last?
In the movie, you know that Haymitch is a mentor, which means that he is a victor and that he has participated in the games before and won, but you never find out the details of how he won. So in the book, not only do you find out how Haymitch won his Hunger Games, you also find out that he was in the last Quarter Quell, which was super nuts because it had 48 tributes instead of 24. So he had to deal with a lot more people. And in the end, it's like so crazy because it's like guts are hanging out and stuff, and then he like tricks the other girl that it's like down to with. I don't know, it's a whole thing. I want you to read the book. It's really cool.
Number 10.
One change from the movie to the book that I really enjoyed was the character of Effie Trinket. In the movie, there's that scene where she's kind of like talking to them for the last time before they have to go into the arena, and she ends up just kind of losing it and dropping that Effie pretense, and she starts getting really upset and being really real with them about how fucking lame it is that they have to do this and how she's totally against it. And I think that that's really important to show that people in the Capitol are not into this either. Like, the people in the Capitol are not excited about these Hunger Games either, and it's just like bumming everyone out, which is perfect to start a revolution. And I feel like in the book, they humanize her a little bit more, but not as much as the movie does, and I appreciate Elizabeth Banks' performance, and I just love that character.
Number 10.
As I said in my Hunger Games top changes, I'm going to say again in this one, I love to see all the political maneuvering that's going around behind the scenes because you don't get any of that in the book. First of all, The Plutarch scenes with President Snow are so good because like they totally make it to where you think that he's a villain and then you find out later and you're like, oh man, like he totally wasn't. That's so awesome. It was really good. And the scene where Plutarch Heavensbee gets a dance with Katniss was really interesting in the movie too. I liked the double entendre he was using where it sounds sinister, but it could also mean that he's a part of the revolution and you don't find out that until later. And in the book, he tries to tip her off to his friendly intentions by showing her his pocket watch and he rubs his thumb over it and there's a mockingjay, but she still doesn't get it. So I think the movie did a really good job with his character. I think it was really neat to see all the political maneuvering that was going on behind the scenes. Philip Seymour Hoffman did a really good job. I like the fact that they didn't put him in a lot of capital stuff and he's just kind of normal and that makes him seem really sinister. But then again, when you think about it, it's yeah, he doesn't buy into all this capital crap. He doesn't do his hair all fucking crazy because he thinks it's a bunch of stupid crap. In the movie, Joanna Mason is so awesome. She doesn't give a fuck. She's like, fuck this, fuck President Snow, this shit sucks. And in the book, they don't really make her quite as rebellious. I really appreciated Jenna Malone's performance. I really like the character of Joanna a lot more in the movie than I do in the books. And these are just some of the changes from the book to the movie. I would say Catching Fire, the movie, starts deviating a little bit more from it than the first book and the first movie, but it's generally all still in there. But there's definitely a lot more time in District 12, and there's a lot more interesting things going on in the arena, and I just really think that more people need to read because it's really good for your brain, and this, like I said, these books are so easy to read. It's not a hard read, so do it. Quit being lazy. It's good for your brain. So that's it today for my top changes from the book to the movie with Hunger Games Catching Fire. And also, if I've done my job well and you want to get into the books, there is a link in the description to Amazon to go pick these up for your convenience. So go check it out. And also, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. So if you're all fired up about the Hunger Games and you want to watch Catching Fire, you can get it now on Blu-ray. We have it in our Amazon store. There are links in the descriptions, and there are also links for the books. So feel free to buy them through our Amazon. Woo! And big news, our epic review of Catching Fire that was previously released on Vimeo is now going to be available free to the public on YouTube coming up right now. Side note, we filmed this episode before the tragic passing of Philip Seymour Hoffman. I am so upset, tragedy that we've lost such an amazing actor, and I'm really bummed that he's not gonna be back for Plutarch, and I don't know who's gonna be able to fill these shoes because he just nailed that fucking role. He's been great in every movie that he's ever been in, and it's just such a loss to the artistic community. So, rest in peace, Philip Seymour Hoffman. I hope you find whatever you're looking for over the Rainbow Bridge. It's I don't want to be a marriage hater. I don't hate marriage, but it's I hate marriage when people do it for the wrong reasons. Who wants to spend thousands of dollars on a cake? Not me. I gotta buy equipment. I gotta buy gear. I need new sandbags and another C-stand. I don't have time to spend $20,000 on a fucking dress that you wear once. You're what's important, not a giant diamond ring.